Larry Summers is encouraging Washington to tap the brakes on boost or risk releasing a serious explosion of expansion. In this video, we'll see what warning Larry Summers has for America. So let's begin. What Larry has to say. "I think policy is rather overdoing it," Summers said in recorded comments at a CoinDesk conference that were released Wednesday. The sense of serenity and complacency being projected by the economic policymakers, that this is all something that can easily be managed, is misplaced. The previous Clinton and Obama officials disagreed with how the Federal Reserve and the financial powers proceed to supercharge the economy, despite the fact that the once genuine gamble of a horrendous deflationary winding has since blurred. "We're facing extremely significant challenges on the expansion side," Summers said, in comments initially made May 18th, adding to a progression of alerts the previous Harvard president has given as of late. "Costs have risen strongly and all that, from utilized vehicles and timber to steel and food. The arrival of expansion is particularly exorbitant to low-pay families, who are probably going to have been hit hardest by the pandemic." When seen as a contender to run the Fed, Summers highlighted how the central bank is flagging that financial costs will remain extremely low for a long time to come and keeps on purchasing $120 billion of bonds every month. "The Fed's thought used to be that if it eliminated the punch bowl before the party got great," Summers said. "Presently, the Fed's principle is that it will just eliminate the punch bowl after it sees certain individuals amazing around tipsy, troubled by Biden policy stance." Summers expressed that while he upholds Biden's endeavors to raise the lowest pay permitted by law, move forward guideline and lift associations, he cautioned that these approaches can be inflationary. That is the reason he's been disturbed by the strategy pose of the Biden organization and highlighted how expansion helped choose Republicans in 1968 and 1980. "Joe Biden has a notable chance to be an extraordinary president," Summers said. "However, I figure they ought to gain proficiency with the example of the Johnson organization's mistakes that chose Richard Nixon and the Carter organization's blunders that chose Ronald Reagan." Summers contended that the size of the present government strategy positions are more noteworthy than the ones that set off out-of-control expansion in the last part of the 1960s. What's more, he voiced worry about the security of the US dollar. "We are printing cash. We are making government bonds. We're getting on uncommon scales," Summers said. "Those are things that doubtlessly make all the more a gamble of a sharp dollar decline rather than we had previously. Furthermore, sharp dollar declines are substantially more prone to make an interpretation of themselves into expansion than they were by and large." White House and Fed push back on inflation fears. Authorities have more than once demanded that rising expansion, shopper costs in April bounced the most starting around 2008, will blur as the economy completely resumes. Numerous market analysts concur with that reasoning. The White House has pushed back on expansion fears, saying an impermanent irregularity among market interest is normal, given the idea of the emergency and recuperation. "Our group intently screens inflationary tensions, yet expansion is most importantly under the domain of the Federal Reserve," the White House official said. In any case, expansion assumptions among buyers and organizations are rising, and financial experts caution that this can turn into an unavoidable outcome. "In a very lenient financial climate," Summers said, "on the off chance that expansion assumptions are permitted to rise, the most common way of returning them and reestablishing ordinariness is probably going to be uncontrolled, costly, and expensive. At the edge of absurd." Summers recognized there's huge vulnerability in the expansion viewpoint. However, he said ongoing markers that astounded financial analysts will quite often confirm the expansion fears. In particular, he highlighted proof of a lack of work, a leap in wages, and a lot more grounded than expected expansions in shopper and marker costs. "At the point when you're amazed, you should think about adjusting your perspective," Summers said. The previous Treasury Secretary said it very well might be too soon to be aware for sure that expansion is an issue, yet added that the vulnerability brings up issues about the Fed's standpoint. "Why on God's earth are we projecting that we will hold loan costs at zero for a very long time?" Summers said, adding that nobody is proposing the Fed ought to sway into raising loan fees. Summers called the way that most Fed authorities hope to save rates at almost zero for 3 additional years at the edge of ridiculous. Independently, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said something regarding the effect of financial strategy at a Senate hearing Wednesday. "You're discussing remarkable progress with a financial and money-related approach, sort of moving along automatically," Dimon said. Dimon said that the uplifting news is we will have an extremely impressive economy this year as well as maybe reaching out into 2023. However, he advised that the strategies from the Federal Reserve and Congress will raise expansion. Here's the end of the video, guys. We hope you like the content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for such videos regularly. Goodbye until next time.